Welcome, my brothers and sisters, to the Jackson J Show. And to today's topic, we'll be focusing on oppression and how black and colored people went through it in the civil rights era. But what we should focus on the most is the definition of oppression. What does oppression mean? It is, in the dictionary, the unjust or cruel exercise of power. But what is this type of oppression? You probably didn't know there's different types of oppression, but there is. This type of oppression in the civil rights era is institutionalized oppression. In this video, you'll see how our black brothers and sisters were oppressed in this uncivil era. Back in 1948, President Truman, he put out an executive order to end segregation. And many diplomats and many people in the government didn't like this order, and they still weren't following the order. They were still, oppressing black people, still having segregation through loopholes and laws. And during this time, white males made 5 times the yearly income compared to black males. And white women, because they didn't really have that many rights in this era. They weren't working and getting paid as much as men. White women were still getting more money, were still getting the same or more as a black male. And only 14% of black people had their high school diploma in this era. And if we fast forward a couple years to 1955, one of the first, things that got big in the news was a woman named Rosa Parks. She gave up her seat. She did not want to give up her seat to a white man. And that action right there started years of bus boycotts and protests and marches. The fact that she didn't give up her seat was just a great action, and it led to so many things. And you must wonder, why did she have to give up her seat in the first place? Back then, black people had to sit in the back of the bus and white people had to sit in the front. Because there is, different laws in different type of states. The states weren't doing the same amount of laws. So that's just how it was back then. Same with drinking fountains. White people got the cold drinking water and black people got the hot drinking water, sometimes hot, maybe cold sometimes, you never know. So after all of that happened with Rosa Parks not giving up her seat, 6 black pastors. One of them is a special name, Martin Luther King. It was included in one of them, included in those 6 black pastors, headed down to Alabama to do a series of nonviolent protests and marching to Montgomery. And you know what they did in those violent marches? People were throwing things, throwing bricks, shooting them with water, stopping them from running, beating on them, just walking, just trying to, do what's just right, like march. And they did all of that. And after many years of protests and marches, President Truman at the time signed a Civil Rights Act of 1964 for there to be no work discrimination when hiring. But this was only a small step forward, not really anything. Because people still, it's not really going to solve anything. They can still be biased. But slowly but surely, bills and acts kept getting signed, giving black people more rights than ever. And it was only possible with the protests and marches that we did in that time, showing and shedding light across the world about everything that was happening in today's world. Thank you for watching my video. Have a nice night.